Hi, everybody. This is Melissa at CIM. Thanks for coming today. We're very excited to go through this with you today. One thing I want to show you right off the bat is that we have this now in the user guide. Not that it's not there yet, but it will be by the end of the weekend. And the Compass Next information is all in the basics user guide. So if you go in Compass, at the top there's the help, and then it says Compass user guide, and then you click basics, and that will open up what I'm showing you right here. So this is the very first page of it. So when we developed Compass Next, the whole point of it was to try to optimize your workflow and make the users make better plans for how they're doing things, when they're doing them, letting them know that there's issues that need to be addressed. We wanted to give you quick and easy access to various types of other functions throughout the system, and to kind of keep it on more of a person-centered view, and then, so that you can just get straight to different places from Compass Next. So it's more than just the dashboard that everybody knows it to be. And so we're going to go through all of the features that are here for you pilot agencies to begin with. And so there's actually 5 pieces to the Compass Next. There is the dashboard, which is what we've all talked about, and you kind of know what you're getting with that, but we'll go through details later. And that's some informational widgets. We got the to-do list on there, etc. We also have a piece called monitors, and that is a lists of, well, right now there are 2 different lists of participants, and one is the institutionalized, which is those that are in the nursing home or hospital currently, and the other one is all of your waiver pending participants. And we can add to that in the future too. The next piece of it is called participants, and that gives you a search capability of anyone in your agency. So it's pretty sophisticated in that it searches a whole bunch of different types of records at the same time. Instead of like you have today, you have to go to the case file selector to get case files, you have to go to the NIFTY selector to get NIFTYs, you have to go to the wait list selector to get wait lists, to find those people. So this is kind of integrating all of that. And then there's a calendar, which is a calendar view of the to-do reminders. And then Navigator is the last one, and that just takes you to the traditional Compass that you're used to every day. When you log in, you're going to be presented with these new panel. And depending on your screen resolution and whether or not the browser is maximized to be full screen or not, which we recommend full screen for this because you'll see the most of the time, you'll have different ways that Compass Next will be presented to you. So today when I'm showing you, you're going to see it looking like this over here. But if you have a minimized browser or a smaller resolution, which can happen on some of the laptops especially, I know my laptop personally brings up this one right here. So it just kind of downsizes it to give you more room for the right-hand side that you need to do your data entry, because this is going to be a persistent left menu that you're going to see throughout Compass every time you use it. And then up, the last one is if you have a very low resolution, your browser's minimized, we're going to move this all to the top across the screen. And then if you click the menu item, you'll see this menu below. So that'll show on the left, but for being on the screen at all times, it's going to show in this kind of manner. So I wanted you to be aware of that, because what I'm showing you today may not be exactly how you're going to see it when you log in, depending on your browser and screen resolution. Okay. The other thing is that we allow you to get to different parts of traditional Compass, but if the user doesn't have the permission to the information, they can't access it. So for instance, there's a 30-day contact and assessment related to-do items, and they're going to take you to the case file. Normally, they'll take you right to the progress notes or right to the assessment. But if they don't have permissions to even view those 2 things, then it's going to take you straight to the case file and at the top level of participant. And that is if they even have the ability to view the participant information. Otherwise, they'll get an unexpected error that they don't have permission to access the resource. So sports coordinators shouldn't have an issue with this. You guys should be all set up fine. The only thing that may be a problem is the hospital reminder, because that's going to take you to status. And so if they don't have the status view permission, then they're going to get the ugly unexpected error. Okay, so that's something to think about. And then the one thing that's different about Compass Next is the log out. Is when you log out of Compass, now you have a menu on the top right-hand side, and that's going to be replaced with a new logout that's going to be underneath your name, where you see your name, and you click on that and a drop down will show up and you'll have a sign out option. Okay, so that then will, end your connection to the server, and you'll be all good at that point, like you normally would with the traditional logout. But the other one, and it won't be there. It'll look like your normal menu items, which I'll show you, but that logout button won't be there. Okay. I'm actually going to start flipping and get into the system at this point and start showing you different things. So one thing is, when you log into Compass, when you have the Compass Next permission, I'm logging with just my brain can't function here at the same time. It's going to replace your current way you see things with the Compass Next dashboard. So normally you log in and you go to straight Compass. Now when you log in, if you have the Compass Next permission, you'll come in here. Okay, so this here is the dashboard. And I'm getting my notes here. The dashboard is like a status at a glance, just so you can kind of get a feel for what you're doing, what you need to do, how you've been doing, and kind of help you make daily decisions on what you need to do next. We want to highlight things to you that may need attention or action. There's like different things of like this to do this week. It's got this bar to show you that during the week it's going to spike and you're going to have a few more to do in the middle of the week than you do near the end. Okay, for instance, same thing with this month. Like this one, because I've been setting up for test data, there's barely anything on in the beginning of the month, but everything's at the end of the month because that's where I've been playing with the data to get it set up for this demonstration. So you're going to see things like that. We're going to go through everything individually, but that's kind of the purpose of this, is to give you very top-level information and the ability to get to the detailed information and to be able to do your job hopefully more efficiently. Right now, Compass Next is built for a supports coordinator. Okay, your other staff in your agency can view it, but you won't be able to get your own to-do items. For instance, if you're a data staff person, you can't get a to-do item on your dashboard right now. Everything is based on the primary supports coordinator. So if you're a secondary supports coordinator, in order to see the cases that you want to deal with their to-dos, you'll have to change to the primary supports coordinator to see their to-do list. Okay. The goal was that we wanted to make sure that one person is responsible for technically all of it, instead of everybody could be colliding and trying to do the same things to the same items. So we put the responsibility initially on primary supports coordinator. We're very open to ideas for future ways of handling this. So as you're going through, you can be thinking about that. When anybody logs in that's not a supports coordinator, and by that I mean in managed users, they don't have supports coordinator initials. Okay, if they log in, they're going to get nothing in the SC dropdown, and it's going to tell them that there's nothing for them to do. Anybody in your agency can use this drop down over here and change it to a different supports coordinator. Now, I will tell you that this is our demo data, but it does have the supports coordinator names of a real agency, but I didn't think that was an issue for this, but except for the one I'm playing with. But all the rest of the data is scrambled. So anybody can change these. I'm not going to do it because it's going to take a while to refresh it, but for this demo instance, that is. So at the moment, you can go view other people's dashboard. Anybody can. So your supervisors can, a data staff person could, as long as they have Compass Next permission and can get in here. Anybody at your agency could see somebody else's dashboard. Okay. Let's see. Everything throughout the dashboard is going to be based on this supports coordinator selected. So you see everything here, the to-do this week, to-do this month, the assessments due, all of this information is based on the primary cases that this supports coordinator is serving. Same thing when we get to the monitors and the calendar, all of that information is going to be displayed for that. So the first thing I want to talk about, I'm going to kind of work through this whole page one by one. At the top we have here the to-dos this week. And what that is anything that's due this week by the end of this week and earlier, so even the overdue items are considered that need to be done this week. All right. So right now I've got 23 total that need to be done this week. As you progress through the week, this number will continue to go down as you accomplish more tasks, as you do monthly contacts, as you do assessments, as you move things out to say, I don't want to do this week, I'm going to do it next week. That number is going to go down. And it's also going to reflect in here a high, which the high is on the 5-day work week, what day has the highest number of to-dos I have to do in a single day. So that's 5 is the most I'm going to have to do in one day. All right, at least how you've got it set up now. This is always changeable, and we'll explain that a little bit better later. But that gives you an indicator of how much you could have to do in one day of this week. The low, it most likely is going to be 0, especially as you're progressing through the week. But it may have items on there if you've got a higher caseload for sure. And then how many you've completed. So this is like a pat yourself on the back. I've completed 26 and 23 are left. I'm halfway done. Good job. Okay. So you can at least see, that you are accomplishing things, even though you may be adding more to-dos to the list than you've been completing, and so at least you can see that information there. And then, like I said before, this line is all about how the to-dos are distributed throughout the week. So we start out that we have a few due by this date, and then it goes down that we barely have anything this day, and we're going back up and back down. So it's just kind of an indicator so you can see, like, the high is probably going to be either here or here. I can't tell exactly what one's really higher, but that's midweek or the beginning of this week that you're going to have so many to do. Okay. If you click on this, it's going to take you to the calendar view to see the calendar. So I'm just going to left click once, you don't have to double click, and then it takes us to this calendar view. I'm going to discuss this in more detail later, but this gives you just a better idea of where everything is laid out in the course of a week. Okay, so you just click back to dashboard over here on the left, and that will take you back to where you were. And so now the next one I want to talk about is the to-do this month. It's basically the same thing, except for it's considering the entire month. So as you go through the month, this might start really high, and then it's going to go down to hopefully nothing by the end of the month. And then again, high, low, complete. It's the same thing. If I click on this guy, I'm going to go to the calendar in a month view instead of the week view that we saw before. So we've given you these little shortcuts to try to have you navigate around. You can see the details of these days and what's going on and what needs to be done from those two to-do counts at the top. Okay. The next one over is the average sync time. This is just a quick way for you to kind of know how much time it will take you to sync in the future. I wouldn't count on it being exact for when, like, tomorrow we're going to be doing a release, so everybody is going to be syncing tomorrow. So, if it's ever a release type of time where that's going to happen, I would allot yourself a lot more time just in case there's lots of people trying to sync at the same time. So it'll tell you the number of seconds or minutes on average and your high and low. I don't have any data to display because I haven't used Compass Go against this demo database, but you will be able to see that too, and so you can tell how long on average that's taking you. Then there's the timely contacts. Actually, let me stop. I have a question. Okay. Region 10's having a problem with sound. Are other people having sound problems? Like Region 2, are you having any problem? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about the sound thing. I'm not sure what could be causing that, unless if you guys are on a conference call or something at your agency, then if everybody that's on the call isn't muted, they could be interfering with me talking too. So that's an idea. I don't think it may not be anything, but okay. So Region 2 is fine. So yeah, it sounds like something's going on in either internet connection or problems with the phone line. Timely contacts. This one is to tell you of the 30-day contacts that have to be done. what's the percentage that are done on time? So this information will give you a good gauge of how well you're doing as a primary sports coordinator, that is, and be able to tell you, if you're keeping track of that. Now, there is no detail to this currently, so you can't click on that and see who's not timely and who is. But what it's looking at all of your 30-day contacts that have been done in the or that were due in the last quarter, and then it compares to see were they done on time. Okay, so it's looking at the last 90 days. It's only looking at people in programs, waiver Y, P, I, financially ineligible, NIFTY, and targeted care management. So any other programs, it's not using in that equation. So if you've got care management clients or case coordination and support that you're tracking our system, they're not going to be included in that percentage at all. Okay. And this is based on every 30 days. So if you're doing it once a month and it's not particularly in 30 days, you're going to have a reduction in this percentage. I did find through setting up demo data, and I don't know if it was not setting up demo data, but testing in general with all of the real data we've had, I did find that we have a lot of people entering late entries and using the date that they're entering the late entry as the progress note date time, and then noting in the note that when the actual contact happened. And you do not want to do that. You want to enter the actual date that you had the contact as the progress note time and date, and then in the bottom of the progress note, automatically the enter date and time are filled in from when you actually click the add button. So anybody who's looking at the record will know based on that enter date compared to that note date time, it is late based on that. And plus, I mean, you're obviously going to document why you were late in the note itself. So if you're one of those that are using that method, make sure you start using the different method, or you're going to be really sad faced when this looks so bad. When you're really not that bad, it's just that you were using a different methodology for entering the late entries. So keep that in mind. Okay. Excuse me. The next thing I want to talk about, oops, I have a question, sorry. Timely is 30-day contacts in the last quarter, but in the last 30 days. Okay, let me clarify that. So the widget here is looking at contacts that are due in the last 90 days and finding out if they were done on time. And to be done on time, they had to have been done within 30 days of each other. I hope that makes more sense. So it's looking at a 30-day time period of the contact, but it's looking back 3 months for basically 3 contacts for a person, technically, should have been done during that time frame if you were doing them all exactly on time. But sometimes it'll be 2 and it's still going to be good. It just depends. Okay. So the next thing is the top to-do list. And this is a sorted list of your top 20 to-do items. We envision this as being used as a work list or a reminder of tasks that need to be done and that you want to make sure that they aren't overdue. If you use this as a work list, then the system will be able to give you guidance on how to complete this, and you can use links within here to make your job faster, and I'll show you that more in detail. Because you can quickly navigate to things, you can quickly put in progress notes if you're using this top to-do list. This first column over here is the reminder date and time. This is the date that either the system has set or you have set when you're adding your own to-do items as when you want to know about this. So we're ordering this list in order by that reminder time. This here, as ugly as it is the person's name, our scrambled data. So that information's there, and then following that is the detail of the to-do item. There are, let's see, six different system reminders in the system, and then you can add whatever you need to anyone, anytime. But this date afterwards of the detail is the due date. So this is due to be done by the 15th, but the system actually is reminding you on the 8th that, hey, you have 7 days to do that contact. And I'll go through what all those are in just a second. The other thing is, if you are overdue, it's going to tell you how long you're overdue. So this one was due 9 days ago. This was due 3 days ago, 20 hours ago. So it gets pretty down to the minute. Oh, well, not minute, because we don't track, I don't think minute, maybe we do, but hour at least. So that information is available to you right here. So the types of system reminders, I want to go through that first. The 30-day contact reminder. This is the day that the 30 days are up. So if you do a progress note on 8/15, you're golden. If you do it on 8/16, that's going to reduce your percentage of timely contacts. Okay. These, just like the timely contacts, this reminder will only show for people in those same programs I mentioned before. So we don't pull 30-day contact reminders on any care management clients. Then the other one, next one here that's showing is the hospitalized reminder. This is going to tell you that the person has been hospitalized, and if they're still in the hospital by September 3rd, that's the 30th day that they've been hospitalized. So these people would need to, you'd need to find out if they're planning on coming out and work with them. The reminder on that is going to show up on the 17th day they're in the hospital. That was just a number that we picked in the design stuff because of some people wanted earlier, some people later. We met in the middle, and 17 it was. So you can change these reminder times to whatever you need to do, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So if you don't like 17 days, you can say, let me know on September 1st, and I'll look into it then, or whatever, or even on September 3rd, especially if that's actually a weekday, because you have to be mindful of that. So that's what the hospital reminder is. Then there's also two other ones having to do with the assessment not being done yet. The assess date missing will show up if you mark the SW or RN certification boxes in section H or T of the assessment. If either of those are marked and the assess date's not filled in, you're going to see this to-do item. It's going to show up instantly so that you know, wait, I marked those. And this kind of ties into the incomplete assessments script that we have now that shows you these. The main reason this has been showing up a lot is because what's happened is somebody will finalize the assessment and then sync Compass Go. And obviously, they should be in the other way around. You're supposed to sync first and then finalize it. Well, if they don't sync first, then those certification checkboxes they most likely marked, one being the SWRN, or if they're doing both parts, are going to get into that next assessment record, because Compass Go only syncs to the next assessment record. So when that happens, this will show up, and that is going to be an indicator to you. If you know that you didn't just do that, yourself while in the application, you'll know that, hey, I need to look at this, because if somebody synced afterwards, then we need to figure out what might be in the dated assessment that didn't make it to the next assessment, okay? Because how that works is that when the next assessment is finalized, it creates a copy into the dated records. The dated record's a brand new record, whereas the next assessment's this living record that you change all the time. So if the copied one that already got copied out when it was finalized is updated, but you don't update the next assessment as well, that data is going to be missing, and you'll have to re-enter it the next time you do your assessment, if you catch it at the next assessment. We hope you do. But so whenever you have an issue like that, you want to make sure that all the data matches up between that next assessment and the dated assessment that was just finalized. So then the next one is similar to that, in that you've put an assessment date in, but it's not finalized yet. So this is going to have a due date of 3 days beyond the assessment date that you put in. So in this one, I put an assigned assessment date of 8/21. So 3 days later, it's expecting you to have finalized it. Now, that is not something the system is enforcing you to do. If your agency policy dictates you have longer, then you're fine. You could change this reminder out to be a later date, so that you remember, it's in your list later and you don't forget about it. So it's up to you how you want to deal with that, but it is reminding you that, hey, you need to go in and finalize that assessment. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't, then you'll never know when the next one's due in the for the next assess indicator, which is here. So the next assess due, this is based on the assessment intervals in the open status record. So 90 or 180 and soon to be 365 would be an option for non-waiver purposes. This is not limited to programs. Next assessment and assess date missing and assess not finalized, those are all available to any program. So if you're tracking for care management on a 90, 180, or even 365 schedule, it's going to calculate those out and put those in your to-do list for you. Okay. And then another thing that we've got that's new is the Medicaid redetermination. This is the date that the Medicaid redetermination is due to be, that they need to have renewed by. So you're entering that date in the Compass participant record, and therefore it's going to remind you of when that's coming up. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. And this one down here is what's an example of a custom to-do item. So I entered this one manually saying I wanted to call the doctor. And so this shows up because I set it for a due date of the 26th, but I want to be reminded at 8 a.m. yesterday. Okay. So those are the different types of things. Now, what I'm going to show you is what we can do with these things. So starting at the top, remember that 30-day contacts, they remind you 7 days ahead. If, for instance, you want to say, I don't want to know about this until, this isn't a good example because it's overdue, so it's kind of screwy, but let's pick a different one down here. So this is the 31st. Well, it's the 25th, and I'm not going to do anything about it for a while, so I don't want to look at that. So I'm going to click this button over here, which is the change reminder, and it's going to prompt you, do you want to push it back an hour, 2 hours, a day, 2 days, a week, or 2 weeks? Or override all of that and pick a date and time. So I'm going to pick a date and time. I'm going to say I want to know on the 30th. And I'm going to be in the office at about 3 o'clock, so I'm going to set it to that time on that day, so that it pushes to my list about that time. And I click OK, and now that is going to move down on my list. You see it all moved up, and it will show down, and it's actually off my list because a max of 20 to-do items I see is up to the 28th. So the 30th is farther down, therefore it comes off your list and you won't see that for a while. But everything will push up as things are done. So if you want to keep this list up to date, you would want to keep working through and changing reminders, or completing it would be ideal. Of course, you guys want to get rid of it by doing it too, but sometimes we know that's not possible, so you can keep changing the reminders so that you keep the important things that you need to be doing at the top. Okay, so that's what this button does. If button is available on any of the contacts, or the to-dos, so any one of these you can change the reminder in that manner. Then the next one is to complete the to-do item. This button differs on its actions based on what type of reminder you're on. And I'm going to go through every one of these and show them to you. So a 30-day contact. I can't just say, yep, I did that. No, because what we're going to want in the system is to have you actually do this. So I want to see, let's see here. I have examples that I wanted to bring, and I don't want to mess up my future examples if I do this differently. Okay, so I want to do this CNAIR guy. So if I click the checkbox, it's actually going to take me to the progress notes. Or I'm sorry, it's going to bring up the progress note. I'm sorry, different one. So right here, I can type in my progress note. It has right now's date and time, so if you're making the call right now, or you can adjust these just like you do in progress notes today. It defaults to monthly contacts, so you don't have to worry about remembering to check that box, which I know a lot of you are always going back and going, oh, right, I forgot to mark that. So that way you don't have to remember to do that. You can type in that, contacted participant and all is well. Obviously you write more than that, but and here's the rest of the fields that you can complete as needed. These are the same lists that you had before. So you would say it was a phone call made. I contacted the person. If whatever you want, if you will track this information, go ahead and put it in. And you're going to click Save. And when you click Save, NAIR here is going to disappear. And the list is going to move up once it saves. So see, now I'm on, that's interesting. So now NAIR is no longer to be seen because now he's not due for another 30 days. Okay, so as you do things, this list is going to change. The other thing that's available on all of these is this third button, edit to, well, there's three things off that you can edit a to-do item, which is going to bring up that particular to-do item. From here, you can edit the title. Maybe you want to edit it to say something different so that it reminds you of why you're not doing this. You could do that. Or you want to add to the description. However, notice that we are not going to let you change the due date or mark it complete. This is grayed out on all system reminders. System reminders all are done by doing actions in Compass or Compass Next, and when they give up these nice little screens. And so you can't change those. You can change the reminders, which means that's the order of which it's going to show on your top to-do list, but you cannot change due dates because those are in stone. So then these buttons up here, this is a button that goes to the participant summary. If I click that, I will show you, we have this cool little thing throughout the system right now, and it shows you the person's name, social security number, date of birth. Over here on the left panel is the to-do list. These are all of the person's to-dos coming up. So it does go out into the future. But it won't show every 30-day and next assess in the future because you have to complete these before it knows the next one. So you can access these through here, and you'll bring up the edit page. So you can open this up and change this from here. I'm going to show you another example of this in a second, where these are blue because they're not overdue. Once they're overdue, they're going to have a red background, so you'll know right away that those are not yet done. From here, you can also click this button to add a to-do item. So if I click that, I can say, let's see, I don't know, get script from doc. And you can, let's see, so need to get the oxygen script. Okay, you can change these, you can type in them, or you can use the calendar icon, however feels better to you. I'm going to say I want this to be remind on the 27th, but let's say it's due the 30th. You'll see here that we default these times to be the beginning of the day to remind you, and at the end of the day that it's due on. You can change those to whatever you want it to be. That's just, a methodology we thought was easier. It's always going to default to today and at 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. for the remind on and due date times. But those are changeable by you to whatever makes more sense. That just made sense to us to fill those in, so you could just type over them instead of knowing the format. So you click OK, and now I have a new to-do that shows up in the left-hand panel. Okay. Over here, we've got information about the person, so we can know what program they're in, and that's the start date. So since May 1st, they've been waiver Y. Since a year before that, they were active. We're reassessed them every 180 days. Their care setting status started on April 1st. The primary supports coordinator and secondary sports coordinator would be shown here. There's also a little cool ability here that you can quickly add them to your sync list in Compass Go. So if, which right now I already had them selected, but I could say, yeah, I don't have anything to do with them right now anymore, for a while. So you can uncheck them, and instead of using the sync selector in Compass Go to do that work, you can do it here. Now, it's not going to sync Compass Go for you. So you still have to go into Compass Go and sync, and it will then reflect these changes you've made in here, as well as if you've done anything else in the sync selector. So you can do both. This is just a quick way for you to add and remove people from your sync list. So up here we also have buttons that will take you to different parts of the system. So go to participant is this one here, and you notice as I hover over it, the text shows up, so you don't have to remember, because I certainly can't yet. Go to statewide search, so you can go right there if you need to go do something new or want to look something up. The status, if you want to go to this person's status, it's a quick way to get there. This will take you to their assessment record, the next assessment. This will take you to their progress notes. And this one over here is to add a progress note. So you click that, and it's going to pop up with similar to what you just saw with the 30-day contact, where you can type in the note. If it is the monthly contact, you can choose that and do it right from here. So you don't have to do all your progress noting within Compass. You can do it through neXt, through this participant summary. And then probably right now you guys are going, so how did you get there again? I can't remember. Well, there's like hundreds of ways, I swear, to get to this participant summary. You can double click on this row, it'll come up. This is an example of that red to-do list, okay? So it's overdue, so it shows up in red. They also show up in the order that the reminders are set, by the way. They're not in any unordered way. So you can double click. You can go over here, you can choose participant summary, same thing. You can go into the edit to do participant summary. There's other ways from non-dashboard ways to get there too, but I'll show you, but that's all over the place. We have a lot of things that if you click or double click on something, you'll get to a different area. So we encourage you to do that because you'll find shortcuts that way. The other thing you can do is you can go straight to their case file. So what that means is it's going to take you into Compass, take you to their case file record, and you can do work from there as well. So you don't necessarily have to do things through here. You can just navigate out to go do it in Compass the way you're used to doing it. However you want to manage it is fine by us. We're just trying to give you some tools to make your job a little easier and hopefully faster. So other things I want to show you. So we've got, I kind of digressed into the participant summary, but that's how this all works, right? Everything leads to something else. The assess date missing, if you click the complete on this, it's going to take you to the next assessment. And it says right there. So if I click that, it's going to open up to that Enrique, whatever the last name he is. And see, I then can just start working on that next assessment right from here. Okay, let me go back to the dashboard. And assess not finalized, exact same thing. So if you click the complete on these, it's not going to complete it for you. It's going to make you go do the record changes so that this automatically gets updated. So you don't have to do anything special to get them to go away except for, finish the data entry. The next assess is the same thing. If you click on that, it's going to the next assessment. So all of those assess related ones are going there. The 30-day contact, remember, is going to bring up that monthly contact already checked for you that you can enter it right from here. The Medicaid redetermination one is actually going to take you to the participant record. And let me show you this. So Medicaid redetermination in this next release is down, down, down. Here we go. So it's the Medicaid recertification date. You could have been using this field right now. That is there. But we're adding a new field, this read-only one. And this is the one coming from CHAMPS. So with the CHAMPS 271 files that we receive through encounters processing right now, those are going to be populated with what we know. And you guys, if you have one that comes up that says it's due, it may be coming from this field here, it may be from this field here, or it could be, this could be entered to override that. So this may be blank and you may enter it here, or you can override it by putting a future date, or more recent date, I should say, than the one from CHAMPS, and that will adjust it. So if right now, if I say, yeah, this isn't getting done again now till 8/31/2017, okay? When I do that, the reminder is going to change. And I can see that if I use my little slide bar like I showed you this morning, for those of you that were on the call this morning, this is the to-dos. So, oh, this is the old version. We have a problem with this refreshing. This will refresh in the one that's going out, but this will change then to 8/31/2017. Okay. So that guy, once you change that, it's going to update that as long as this date is more recent than that. Okay. Which I'm sure it will, because we're not going to get CHAMPS data that's more recent than what you're going to know. So as those things change, you change that, it's going to update your dashboard. So if I look at this one, the LMO guy will be gone on that Medicaid redetermination date. Say it's gone from my list because he moved off. Okay, so that's the Medicaid redetermination. Hospitalized reminders, if you click on it, if you hover over it, it tells you I'm going to go to status. You go, okay. So if you guys have rights to, you could actually, enter the status yourself and put them back home, or whatever else, would need to be done. But whatever you do in here will change that reminder again. So the to-do will go away once they come back home. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. But that's up to what, your agency wants you to do permission-wise. The user added ones, if I take this call doctor, if I say I want to complete the to-do item, it's going to bring up this fancy screen. And this is, this is not exactly too intuitive here, but you can do so many things on this one screen, and you don't have to do them all. You can do one or many. The one thing you can do is if you say, I called the doctor, but they told me I needed to call back in 2 weeks. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up. So you could create a follow-up to-do item and enter a time that you're going to call in 2 weeks. So I picked that. And then I'm going to say, okay, but the one I just did, I did complete that. Okay. And then you're going to want to progress note this, right? To say, I called the doctor and they want me to call back in 2 weeks. Okay. And obviously that wouldn't be a monthly contact. So you can complete, again, whatever you want down here like you normally would. You click save, and it's going to do all of those things at once. Now, I could have created a follow-up without completing the one. I could have completed it and not created a follow-up. I could have just put the progress note in at one time. Okay. So it falls off my list because it's more recent than this. I can always get it by going to find that client, but just to show you that screen again, so you can I can go through some stuff again with you. So you can check this and do nothing else. You can enter this and do nothing else. You can enter a note and not click either of these things, and all those things will save. So if you just want to put a progress note to where you're at, but you're not done with the to-do, just don't check that, and then it'll save the progress note for you. Okay. It will not save a progress note unless there's notes entered. It won't save that it's complete unless that's checked, and it won't create a to-do unless there's a date and time in here. So what those things are all the things that'll control what happens when you click the save button on here. Okay? So it's pretty fancy. Fancy schmancy. Let's see. I kind of got ahead of myself on some things. Oh, but that follow-up, I did want to show you that one. Let's see, who was that? I don't even remember who that was, darn it. Was it you? No. Or was it my... I don't know now. I lost it. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Whoops. That's one of those bad guys. I messed him up. Anyway, when you do that follow-up, what's going to happen is it's going to put the text follow-up on. We may run into it later and I can show you. But the follow-up on text will preface the actual to-do text, so you know that this is a follow-up for that particular one you did previously. So that will automatically happen when you enter that follow-along date. The other things I want to show you, okay, so that's kind of it for the to-do list. Now, the other thing you may want to do is if you're going to be heavily working with the to-do list, you may want to click this button right here, and that's going to take it to a full page, well, pretty close to a full page, so that you have, more space up and down to work with it, left to right. It expands the name field out a little bit for you, so that you can manage this. I mean, otherwise you still have full functionality. If you want to go back, you just click that back down and it goes back to normal. Okay, so that you can do in these other widgets too, but this is the one you'd probably use it in for sure. So the next thing I want to talk about is, well, the assessments due by month over here. This is just a good indication to you of when assessments are coming up due. If you put your mouse over it, it's going to tell you that for October there's 17 assessments that are going to need to be done. But you've got November, there's only 10. And in September, there's only 11. So, you could look at this and go, okay, I have a spike in October. I'm going to actually try to get some of those done in September so I don't have as much work to do in October. So that's, a way to help plan what you want to do and when, and if you're going on vacation and things like that, for a while, then that may help you to do that. Now, you can't, again, just like timely contacts, you can't click on these and get the detail, but you could go like your normal way of going into the case file selector and filtering it by your initials and then sort by that next assessed due date. There's your list of in order for what you need to do, so you can look at that. So that's available still. It's just not quick and easy yet. Something we want to do, but we haven't got that far. This bottom one here is similar to the timely contacts, except for it's based on assessments. And this one is not restricted to programs. because assessments, we have the assessment interval that sets what they should be doing. So if you've done your assessments on time, which means it's going to, again, look at what was due in the last quarter, so in the last 90 days, what was due, and then were they done on time? And on time could be the 90, it could be the 180, and now it could be, we've added 365 in this next release, so it could be any one of those. And then it's going to say, okay, was it late? And if it was late, if you enter a reason in the social worker piece of the reassessment late reason, it will show you that. Okay, so you can see that this was a participant choice scheduling issue. So I don't care about that. That's not my problem. That's, that was an issue they had. But if you don't put one in, you're going to get something like this. So it will then break the pie chart up. It refreshes constantly. So the on time here is 92.31%, and that's a total of 24 assessments that were done on time. So pat yourself on the back, you did really well. And then, it looks like each one of these, it's just one assessment each. So that's not too bad. Now, again, this isn't real data, so I'm really not patting anybody on the back. I just fudged this stuff to make it doable for a demo. But but hopefully yours looks like that, or maybe it's completely blue, and that would be fantastic for you. If you, again, this doesn't have the detail, you can't click on this and get the detail of who's on time, who's late, but you can run the SC monthly performance script that you guys have been using in the past if you want to find out who these late assessments are related to. Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is the participant summary. And I kind of showed it to you. I just want to make sure I've gone through everything in here. Oh, this Compass Go sync list one will not show up if the person has closed 30 days or more than 30 days ago. Because just like Compass Go today, you can't sync people that have been closed more than 30 days. Neither can you add them to your sync list from here. So if you don't see that, that's why. There's other places you can access this participant summary where it's not related to the episode, it's related to the wait list, or that they're just a person in your agency and they haven't gone anywhere yet. Or they closed the waiting list, and etc. So that won't be present for there, and you'll also not have some of this other additional information. So it depends on where the person is, just how much information you'll see on this participant summary. I mean, obviously for the ones that you have open, it will show you that. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, is the critical information is going to show on here. Actually, let me go put this in. So if I go to the participant and I type in, daughter not allowed to contact us. I don't know. I'm making stuff. So if you do that and you go back to the dashboard, this is the FRTA lady. I'll try to remember who I have this time. I just double clicked on her. Critical information is going to show up here, and it tells you exactly what that is. So this information is right at your fingertips too from here. Okay. So that's pretty much it, because I already talked to you earlier about what that rest of that entails for the participant summary. The next thing I want to show you is, to move away from the dashboard, is the monitors. And the monitors are a place that you, as a primary sports coordinator, want to look at periodically, just to gauge where things are at. So the first tab in here is the institutionalized, and it breaks it into two spots, the hospitalized and the people in the nursing facilities. So this guy right here, Medicaid ID, this is the date that they went into the hospital. This is how many days they've been in the hospital, okay? And then same thing down here, the person's name, and this person doesn't even have Medicaid. They've been in there since May 11th. That's 106 days. And you see that it turns red and has this little warning triangle. That happens anytime it's over 30. So once you get to 30 and over 30, it's going to turn that color. So you know that, oh, I got to take care of this. So you want to be monitoring. Just, you can see, first of all, if you have different staff that are putting in status information for you, you want to make sure that got done. You could check here to know that that happened. And just, to keep, it's an easy way for you to make sure you've got your hand on where these people are currently. And then if you click on the waiver pending one, this is a list of all of your waiver pending participants. So this guy here, he actually is no longer waiver pending, but the thing is that waiver pending should always go away. So either this period's still being worked on by the field office and you're trying to still get it fixed, or you know that this period is not going to become eligible, and so this waiver pending needs to change to ineligible. So either way, any waiver pending, closed, not closed, all of them, if you were the supports coordinator, is going to show up on this list. So you might be shocked for some of these that when you first get in here. Some of you will not be at all. It'll be just like you expected, but some others may have some interesting data show up from old days past. So your job here is to try to get that cleaned up, obviously, because you don't want to have waiver pending people. I mean, obviously you have to wait on the field office, but other than that, you want to get that cleaned up. So the other thing I just realized I didn't tell you about, the nursing facility participants. We don't show you people that are in the neXt program. It's because you obviously know that they're in their facility. You're working to get them out. So those people will not show up here, or if you haven't entered a program status on them yet. So that was to handle, some agencies don't use the neXt right off the bat as a program. They may use something else. Or nothing at all, and they put them in the nursing facility care setting. Those won't show here either because they're not enrolled in anything that they would ever have to disenroll from, is kind of like the point of it. So just so that you know that, don't expect those to show up on there. Okay. Oh, the other thing that's fancy about these is any one of these, you can double click on them. And then you get the lovely participant summary where you can go anywhere you want. So if you need to fix the status and you have permission as a user to do that, you can go there and go make the changes. Or if you want to go look at it in its entirety, you can just look at it too from this. You don't have to have the add change permission to go to it. You just need view. Okay. So again, double clicking or clicking in this is going to get you different places that you can navigate. All right, the next thing I want to show you is the participants. Now this participants thing is pretty darn cool. It will search for anyone that ever has worked with your agency, be it on the wait list, be it they just had a MIG, be it they had a neXt, whatever. If you can access them in your agency, you can see them on this list. So this is not limited to a supports coordinator. It'll check the whole thing. And you can also search for anything on this screen. So if you wanted to search for everybody in Washtenaw County, you could type Washtenaw and it'll show you everybody in Washtenaw County. That is if you serve Washtenaw County, which neither of you do, but in general, that would be how it worked. You can search by a Medicaid ID. You can type that in. You can type in a date of birth. You can type in the last four. You can type in the person's full name, partial name, last name, first name, whatever you want, and you will get results for all of that. So it's very cool. Like if I do fee and I hit enter, it's going to show me everybody that's got fee as part of their name. So this guy, it's part of his first name. This guy, it's part of his last name. Okay, Feek, that's a most normal name I've seen in this scrambled up database. You can sort by any of these columns. So if you just click on them, they change sort. You can click it again to do the other way around. So if you want to sort them all by county or something, or give me the ones that are Medicaid, you can do that. So you have a little bit of flexibility here. If you want to search for the whole name, like I am going to search for this guy, and I really have to pay attention to how this is spelled because it's kind of goofy. Let's hope that I did that right. When I type in his full name, here's that guy right here. Okay, so you can type that in, the full name, you can do partial name, and find anybody. And then if you double click them, what do you get? The participant summary. Fancy that, huh? So, and again, depending on what information that person has, it'll show here. And then this guy has no to-dos. He's an awesome dude. He doesn't have any, so he's clear. Good deal. So anyway, so you can use this to whatever purpose you want. We've kind of, been playing around the idea this could be something that your front desk receptionists people may want to have, because if somebody calls in, they can get in here, look them up, find out, okay, oh, they're waiting for this program, okay, and let them know. Or this is their supports coordinator, oh, okay, I can direct them to that supports coordinator then instead. So instead of, I know some places are printing off pages and pages and pages of client lists, which is not very, safe, being that it's client information hanging around. Others, maybe accessing Compass, but you have to use the case file selector or statewide search, and it's kind of more cumbersome. So this could be a great tool for that. I just had a question if we can search by AFC or assisted living. It does not have, it only searches the columns that are shown here. So those would not be something you would search for. They'd have to be one like Medicaid ID, date of birth, any of those. You can't search by things that aren't listed on the screen, but anything on the screen you can. So, and I know we have a request to add phone number to this. Just because, if you guys are getting a phone call and it's caller IDs coming in and you're deciding who is this, you can type in that phone number and you know who it is and can decide whether or not you're going to take that call. Maybe you're leaving in 5 minutes and you're not going to get off the phone with them for an hour. So I'm not going to take that and let it go to voicemail, for instance. Okay. I had another question about exporting the results to Excel. No, there is no export. There's not even really a good print capability I found. It doesn't print very nicely. It's really just as a tool to use to get information quickly at your fingertips. It's not really meant to be reported on or, exported, for instance, like you've mentioned. So, a good question. So, yeah, same thing with the monitors. Those right now don't have a real good printability. I don't even know if it worked. I tried to do it here and it kind of broke the printer. It just kept thinking it was going to send it and it never sent it. That could be, combination of my computer to the printer too, who knows. But like I said, that's not really what we envisioned it being used for. So that's why I didn't worry too much about it. But we can look into different things too, as if you guys find different needs that you think could be facilitated by this, let us know. Okay. So that's it for participants. There's another tab in here though that's called the offline participants. This lists all the people that currently are going to synchronize to Compass Go. So right here you know who they are. You can click them and hey, participant summary again, right? So you can uncheck and then they're going to disappear. Check them, they show back up. Okay. You have the ability to clear the whole list. I don't want to click this because I don't want to set them all back up again. But if you click this, they'll all go away. And then when you go into Compass Go and go to the sync selector, they're not going to be there. Or it'll be adjusted to whatever you did in here. So you can do all that from here and then it be ready to go. And you just have to go in and sync in Compass Go and you've got everything you planned on having without having to do all of the left-right business in the sync selector. So it's just an alternative way. You do not have to do it. You can use your same old, and that's just fine too. All right, next is the calendar, which I gave you a brief glimpse of earlier. The calendar, it defaults to this month. You can go backwards and forwards, click today to go, so that it highlights today. Over here, you have a day, week, month, and agenda. So if you look at day, for today's date that it was highlighted, this is what it looks like. Remember I said earlier that all of our system reminders default at 8 a.m. So that's why they're all showing here. And they also each have their own color coding scheme based on what type of reminder they are to do. So this blue color here is a 30-day contact. It tells you that. This is a little bit purpley. I can't see it very well, but it's so close to the other one, unfortunately. But this is the next assess, and then the rest in this one day are that. If we go to different days, they'll change for who's due. I don't have anybody due tomorrow. But if I go to the week view, it'd be more handy for what I'm trying to do right now. So like this guy here on the 21st, it's the hospital reminder. So that was the 17 days notification that they're in the hospital. Down here, we've got assess date missing. So we need to fix that. And that, again, goes in right when you click or sync the boxes that for the social worker RN certification checkboxes trigger that. The assess not finalized, meaning you have the assess date in, but it's not been finalized yet. It shows up in that color. And I think, did we do this one already? Oh, this is the custom added one. So that one's like orange. And this is all in the user guide explained very well. And so you don't have to be, writing all that down. But then again, you can click on them. When you click them, participant summary, go figure. And then you can go to those contacts, or not contacts, to-dos from here, and you can edit them, complete them, you know, etc. So again, you can do that. You also can move these around. So if you say, you know, this hospitalized reminder, you know, I want you to remind me on Friday. You can click this and you can say, bam, and it changes it. Or if you want over here, think that this is going to take longer to do this, I don't know. Whoops, I didn't mean to click. See where I can drag this to be longer. I can, you know, drag here. If we're on the month one, it gives you even more flexibility to move stuff around. Okay, the month one shows you a little blue dot. That just means that there's more on this day for that person that are due, or more information that are due, that you can then pull it up. See, it's got all those. So that's all that's telling you, is there's multiple things, and that's a good indicator, because maybe, you know, oftentimes your 30-day contact and your next assess due are the same time. I mean, you'd hope so, and so you can get those done at the same time when you look at the holistic view. I mean, this one's not, but it would be next month, or, you know, once we do the September one, then they're both due October 16th. So anywho, so that's a good way to look at that too, is looking at the participant summary and see how much you can get done with one phone call instead of just doing the monthly contact. We can set up the assessment, for instance. Okay. So you can hover over, it shows the to-do, you click on it, get the participant summary, you can move stuff. What you cannot do in here is you cannot like add your own appointments to it. It's something we would love to do for the future, but right now it all is based on a to-do. I mean, technically you could add a to-do that says, I want to do this, and that will then show up on your calendar. So you could do that. But like, there's no way to say, I've scheduled this assessment, or the next assessment reminder is going to show up until you complete it. So even though you've scheduled it, it's still going to be there at the top of your list. But you may want to say, I'm going to change the reminder to the date that it's actually scheduled for. And then that moves it to the appropriate place in your list, and you know you've got that scheduled. You could also go edit the notes in there. So like, for instance, let me go to the dashboard and show you what I'm talking about, in case you're not following me verbally, which I'm barely following myself verbally. So this is that one person that's not right. Okay. So if I click on the next assess, I could say, you know, I can sched or something, and I can do is scheduled for the 19th, or the, what, I don't know where I'm at. Let's just do the 11th. Say it's scheduled for the 8th. Can't write. And then you could say, okay, let me change this. And then what time am I going to go out? Well, I don't think I'm going to go out at 8, but I'm probably going to go out at 10. And you click OK. So that's going to update that information. So next assess scheduled. And then the unfortunate thing is, this is the due date. That is not the reminder date when you see it in this method. So, but it does say in the hover text here, you know, whatever you typed as the note. So you do see that. Plus, when you look at it on this line, that date over on the left is the reminder time. So even though this date's going to be behind it in this text, like over here, the reminder time is going to be the date you set it to, which would be the 8th that I just set it to, but it's going to fall off my list, so I can't show you that. But anywho, that's just an idea. You know, really, you need to get in here, you need to play with it, you need to get a little familiar with it to understand exactly how you want to use it and what works best for you, because everybody, I think, is going to be different on that. Another thing I could show you is any time, whether you're on the calendar or in the editing to the to-do, if you change the reminder time to be beyond the due date, you can. We know that that could happen. So if I change this to the 30th, it's due the 29th, you're going to get a message that the remind on date should be before the due date. Do you want to continue? So that's just to make sure you don't accidentally put the reminder date after the due date. If it's intentional, go ahead and say okay. If it wasn't intentional, go ahead and cancel and fix it to what you want it to be. Okay, but I'll just click OK. So that's available to you from there too. Then the last piece that I want to talk about to explain to you is the navigator. Navigator is something you click on and to get to traditional case file selector. So if you log in, you're like, I don't want to deal with the dashboard right now, I just need to do this, okay? You can easily do that, click navigator, and you can get to, for instance, if your data staff has access to neXt, they may want to go to the encounter processing. Well, you're not going to do that through the dashboard. You have to click navigator to get there, okay? And any of these other tools. But like I said, see here, there's no logout button because now you're going to log out here, okay? I didn't talk about these. View profile, that's just showing your managed users profile. Nothing big deal. And then on this is the permissions. So we don't have that available yet, so don't worry about it. It would just show you what you see in managed users, so you have it a different way. Then the other thing I was going to do is, I know we've explained all these things, and it's a lot. I know it's a lot. But what I'd like to do now is to kind of go through, if I was you, which I'll never be, I appreciate you too much to do that to you, and I wanted to go through this list, what I would do is, okay, this is due 9 days ago. So, okay, it reminded me on the 8th, it was supposed to be done by the 15th, and either you're going to do it right now, or you're going to change it and push it back. That's really what you want to do with this top item. So in this case, let's say I'm going to do it. So I would click on the complete. I would type in that, monthly call, and all is well, whatever you want to fill in as much, I'm not doing it for sake of time right now, but you can click save to that. That's gone off your list. Get the script from Doc. Okay, I know I can't do that for a while, so I'm going to say, remind me to do that in 2 weeks. Okay, that goes off. 30-day contacts due for Cassidy. Well, I'm not so sure. What else is going on with her right now? And you look and you're like, oh, okay, the 30-day contacts come and due here too. The call doctor's on here. Was that the same person? I don't know. This might have been the one I did before. The next assess is due. Okay, so you're getting a full picture here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the 30-day contact on her. So you can click on this, and then this complete, and monthly contact. You have to fill in a note, otherwise you can't save it. And click save. And so then that's going to reset your monthly contact to be now in September. I'm going to get out of here. Assess date missing. Okay, so I can fix that. So I click over here and I'm like, oh wait, that was from my July one I was working on. Whoops. So I'm going to go into these guys and take out these check boxes, either one or both. I'm going to check both of them just so I don't have to come back. Okay, that one wasn't checked. So then now I'm just going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to hope that that's now gone for this guy. Yep. All right, so that one's dealt with. Assess not finalized. All right, complete that. I'm now here, and I can, do whatever I need to do, which for me it's do this. We do it the shorthand way around here. And then bam, bam, bam. Going through, I'm doing it really fast and because I'm not doing anything, but you would typically be actually working on it. And getting through it, you finalize it. Yep, I already synced. I'm good. And then wait for that to finish, and then go back to the dashboard. And that CF, sometimes I wish these names were easier to pronounce. He's gone, except for you can see he's got a 30-day contact coming up. So I can say I did that. Well, the assessment date must have been earlier. Yeah, because that counts just like it does today. Assessments counts as monthly contacts. So if I want to see his participant summary, which I could have double-clicked on him too. Okay, so next assess is the 19th. Yeah, so that was an old assessment I did. And I could do his 30-day contact while I'm here, etc. So you can kind of just go through the list and change things however you want, and to keep it up to date. Like this one, I know I'm not going to call for another couple days, so let me push that down. This next assess, I can't, whoops, I meant to click the other button, sorry. I clicked the complete. Go back to dashboard. So I can't call him for another week, so he doesn't like to be scheduled that early in advance, for instance. So let's push that back a week. And then this guy, you know, a couple days I'll deal with my monthly contacts here. So you can keep doing this, and you notice that large number I had is surely going down through as you go through the week. And depending on how much work you do, you can affect the percentage here, because obviously you guys do a lot of monthly contacts, so you'd have to do a lot of monthly contacts for that percentage to change. Okay. So that, you know, like the hospitalized reminder, you can go to the status. If you have rights to it, you could fix it. So I could go in here and say, okay, they came home today, 08/25/2016, home, save, and then that one will come off my dashboard, and it will come off my monitors. Okay, so if I go to the monitors here, he's not there. So, you know, looking at this, planning this, using it how, you know, however it works for you, you'll have to play with it. And we'd love to hear, you know, how it goes. And well, we're planning on, let me just say this, we are going to be developing a checklist. Well, we have, but we're not quite tweaked it enough yet. That we want to make sure that as pilot agencies, you've done these certain things. So we're going to send out a list of these different features that I've shown you today that you may forget about, but play around in it, double clicking, clicking on the calendars, using the monitors, etc. Watching the to-dos, and does this help you? Does it make you feel better that, you know, you're getting stuff done? Because I know it makes me feel better when they go away. And, you know, and then we're going to, you know, then get together sometime, probably a phone call chat, or you can send in help star requests, however makes it simple for you to communicate back to us what you think. We're hoping that we can speedily get through all the pilots, but we have to really pay attention to how much load this is going to take on the server. So I am going to, on Monday morning, enable the role for your agencies. Well, for Region 10 on Monday, I'm sorry. On the 1st, I do Region 2 as an agency. And then you guys will go in and assign the users you want. In Manage Users, you'll then see Compass Next show up to the bottom of the permissions page. And you'll be able to go in there and say which users you want to have Compass Next, because you may not want them all to have it yet, especially non-supports coordinators. You can, it's up to you. But that's where we're doing now. So Monday morning, I'm going to come in probably around 8-ish, and then I will send out an email to Region 10 saying, hey, you're ready to roll. Go into Manage Users, set up these accounts for Compass Next if where you want to have it, and then the next time they log in, they'll get the Compass Next dashboard. Okay? Any questions? Are you guys excited? I know you can't talk back, but you could ask, you know, put the questions in, or I can unmute you too. Whatever you want. Okay. All right, so good luck. Please don't hesitate to call us if you're stuck or need help. We are going to be sending out this recording so that you'll be able to watch us at any time all again. And then we'll be able to, I'm sorry, I just saw a question pop up. We'll, you know, answer your questions and then see how it goes with the pilot. Okay. I had a thing from Region 10. I think that they're trying to put in a question, but they're not done yet. So I'll wait a second here. Okay. All right. All right, in the current system, opening multiple tabs, you can do that and to work on multiple clients. Is there any problem with Compass Next? I haven't seen it yet. I've been fine with it. I don't anticipate that there'd be any issues. But I guess you'll play with that, please. Let us know how it goes. Because you should be able to. It should handle it fine. Because it's not that much different than the other world. You may have situations where you got to wait for the dashboard to refresh because I don't know if you've been noticing how this pie chart is changing. So it is refreshing somewhat, but so if you flip back to one, the dashboard may not reflect what you just changed in the other window, and it's going to take a moment or so for it to catch up. But other than that, you could probably, I'm pretty sure you can do multiple windows. If not, my other cheat sheet is I just use another browser, and then you're totally safe. So I do Chrome and Firefox together, and you're good. When you're in Compass, we get alerts from Compass Next. You have to go back to the dashboard. Dashboard is the only place you're going to see the to-do list to tell you what to do. There isn't any notification type software. Yeah, if you know what case file it's in, you could go into their case file and use that. Let me show you here. The slide out to-do bar. But that would mean that you would actually know where you're going. Why am I not finding him? Am I in the right spot? I thought so. Oh yeah, I could do that. I could go to their case file, huh? Everybody's telling me how to do stuff, and I'm trying to take the long way. See, I'm not used to it either, so you guys should really talk to each other and go, hey, I found this cool way to do this, even though it may not be cool. Other people may not realize they can do it, and so I would suggest you do it. So this slide out bar over here will show you all the to-dos, but you're not going to get notified like that list does and be able to manage that list unless you're on the dashboard. So you can see them here, you can complete them here. It does not give you the fancier features that you do in Next of like jumping to the next assessment. You won't be able to do anything about the next assessment reminder from over here. You're just going to have to go over here and do it. And monthly contacts, you're not going to get the pretty screen that you just pops up the progress notes to enter it. So those features are all part of the dashboard. Well, Compass Next, I should say, because technically the participant screen can do that too. But within the case file, no, you can't do those things. But you can see contacts for a person or to-dos for a person. Jeez. All right, is there any other questions? Okay. Like I said, you can always email Helpstar, or you can give us a call and ask us, and then we'll be more than happy to help. Okay. All right, thank you guys for participating today, and we look forward to next week. It'll be exciting. So exciting. I can't wait. All right, thanks guys. Bye.